Hello, friends. Dr. Melissa here, aka my self-care doc, your friendly neighborhood body shame smashing holistic glow expert, speaker, and founder of the Self-Care Crown Method. I want to welcome you to another episode of Makeup Free Monday, the show where I give barefaced facts about skincare and wellness topics. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. And if you have watched before, welcome back. I would so love if you would like, subscribe, and share this series with anyone that you think may benefit from the message. I am so excited today because I am beginning a new chapter for my Makeup Free Monday series by inviting some of my favorite folks to join the conversation. Now, since my work is rooted in nervous system regulation, ritual, radiance, and connection, I love surrounding myself with folks who are helping people reclaim their sovereignty in their own unique way. This is not about competition. It's about showing you how many paths exist to come home to yourself. And today I am so excited because I'm being joined by my beautiful friend and a powerful voice in the women's empowerment space, Carrie Helms. Carrie is an international speaker, best-selling author, and midlife reinvention alchemist. She's developed a holistic system that empowers women to awaken their inner wisdom and reclaim their self-worth so they can confidently reimagine and live into their next chapter with clarity, courage, and joy. So let's dive in and say hi to Carrie. Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Dr.
Welcome
Melissa.
to the show.
I'm so excited to be here today, to be able to just see where this conversation goes.
Absolutely.
I love your work.
I've had so much fun getting to know you over the last little bit. I'd love for you to share with the audience what inspired you to step into your work.
Oh, goodness. You know, there are a few defining moments, but I'll say the biggest defining moment was when I was going through financial betrayal in my marriage. I mean, this is a long-term marriage. You think that you know yourself, you think that you know your partner. And yet I began to realize as I was going through my own journey that we are the queens of our destiny. That no matter, we can have some really smart people around us, we can even have great friends. But if we don't trust ourselves, if we don't advocate for ourselves, really, then how could we possibly even begin to ask for what we need?
Absolutely. Yes. Like boundaries are so important, and holding to them is amazing. I often say that every no becomes part of the crown that we wear daily.
I like that. I can see, I actually have a prop that I use when I go do my retreats and everything, which is the crown. But I'll tell you, that crown is not comfortable to wear sometimes.
Not always, no, but it is important to pick it up and dust it off, and for others as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just feeling into what you're saying, and my heart just opens when I realize that how important it is for us to love ourselves first.
Absolutely. And that's so important. And so your personal healing really influenced your professional path. How did you get to there? What steps did you take?
So first of all, I was listening. it was thinking, thy will, not my will. I have to say, right? Because I started off my career as a HR manager and then an executive. And I was taught the masculine way, where you have goals, you go after them. And not until I listened to my internal knowing through a meditation I take my clients through, which is a modification. Well, it's a blending of dream building and Heart Math Institute. Are you familiar with them?
Absolutely. I've been a certified heart math institute practitioner for many moons.
Yes. So you know the power of
Yeah,
coming back
absolutely.
to our heart and asking,
Mhm.
so what, first of all, feeling safe in our body. And so when
Absolutely.
I went to this through this meditation, a heart math meditation a number of years ago, I had a toddler and I began to realize that there was something that I had left undone. And I thought, okay, so when I was a little girl, even when into my teens, I was with that child that was reading Psycho-Cybernetics on the beach. Are you familiar with that book?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm rereading it
Excellent.
right now. So it's the power of our subconscious mind, right? And so I was geeking out about these terms even when my fellow girlfriends were oogling the boys. So I realized that something had been left undone. And so I told my then husband, I'm going back to school. And he said, well, but how are we going to pay for it? How are you going to do this? We have a young toddler. And I said, you know what? I will figure it out. We will figure it out how we're going to do it. And I said, I also said, let me be clear. I am not asking for permission. I am asking for partnership here so that we can do this together. And
Yes, so
I didn't
important.
Right? And I didn't know where this was going to end up going back to school. And as it turned out, I realized I didn't want to be a sit-down psychotherapist, but it was the closest to coaching at that time because I graduated in 2005 with my master's. It was the closest to coaching. So then I learned energy work, the path, I call it God's breadcrumbs. And
Mhm.
the path then reveals itself. You just do what is there in front of you that you know has been a deep craving in your soul.
I love that. In Chinese medicine, we call that following the qi or following the golden
Mm.
path. So that's
Ooh,
yeah.
I like
And
that. I love the terms that you bring up, by the way. There's one in
oh,
particular, if I could
thank
bring
you
up
so much.
one that's been captivating me for a number of
Yes.
weeks, is you talked about creating an energy condom for the
Yes.
tumultuous people around us. And so if you care
Yes,
to
the Chi Condom, and we're getting really close to relaunching that
yay.
course. So stay tuned for that. That is actually being filmed this week. So we will have it back up and running online very, very soon. So I'm super excited about that. Uh, and it fits into the self-care crown framework so seamlessly. So I love talking about the Chi condom. And if you've been on this channel, you've heard me mention it a number of times already, I am sure. And if you have not been on this channel, it is an energetic bubble for yourself to help maintain strong and sexy boundaries, because boundaries are sexy. They are so wonderful for helping you feel safe and loved.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
I
so I
want
so
to talk to
I can't
you.
wait to hear more about that. And if we
That's
have
so
time, I would
wonderful.
love
And
to go for it.
I'm so happy that it resonated with you, my friend.
And with my clients, because I have been helping women across the United States and into Canada to own their queen. And so they've been asking, like, so Carrie, how do I set clear boundaries? So I actually
Mhm.
use Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I see it instead of as a hierarchy, I see it as interlocking circles. That when we
Yes.
set clear boundaries around our non-negotiables, our standards. I found this during my dating days, by the way, is in order to, let's call
Yes.
it, track the right
That's a
people, I had to set clear boundaries, like around health, around my sense of self-esteem. Yeah. And so
yes,
it's,
absolutely.
but we want to be people. I mean, how do we want to be liked, right? So I have
Exactly.
helped women to see that when you set clear boundaries, that you're actually uh, creating a deeper level of connection with that other person. That They don't no longer need to be a mind reader, that you can actually say, hey, this is what I prefer.
I love that, Carrie. I want to change gears a little bit because I want to talk with you about something that we've discussed before, but I feel like we had some really powerful thoughts about it. But what, in your opinion, is the biggest misconception about self-care in our society right now?
Okay, I can answer that hands down.
I know. That's why I'm asking. I know what you're going to say, but I want the audience to hear it.
I know you know that I know that you know. So
exactly.
Yeah. So this is what I hear from women is because I say self-love is the pathway to being the queen of your destiny, or any number of ways to say this, to be the God spark in your life. And they say, well, that feels like I'm going to feel guilty that I'm not taking care of other people's needs, or that self-care is selfish. To which I say, isn't that interesting? The way you've been programmed to believe that. And I love the way you do this. Because I too used to believe that. I can remember being a selfless mom with 2 active boys and a partner who was in sales, and he was traveling around the world. And I was acting like I had my stuff all together. And yet I don't think I understood. In fact, I distinctly remember I was reading a book by Greg Bauer called, what was it called? Anyway, it wasn't self-love, but it was a pivotal book for me, and I'll think of it'll come through as I'm talking. And he talked about the concept of filling our love cup first before we're able to help somebody else. They said, like, if you see somebody that's drowning, figuratively or real, are you going to just jump right in there after them? No, you're going to offer them a lifeline. But you can't know that they're actually drowning, figuratively, unless you actually you're present to yourself, and you can't actually give from an empty cup. So yeah. So what I'm curious your thoughts on that too, what you've seen in your
I often use the analogy of affixing your own oxygen mask first.
Yeah.
You know, when the pressure drops in an airplane cabin, they always tell you affix your oxygen mask first before you assist anyone else. And I feel like that really translates to the rest of life.
And if you think of that analogy, what's the concept is the oxygen mask. It actually allows you to take a pause, a breath. It's life-giving, right? And then what happens sometimes if we're not in self-care, I've started doing retreats again because I realized the power of the pause. When we are not in that place of, I'll call it in our right minds, this trauma or stress has gotten the best of us, we really cannot think clearly. So putting our oxygen mask on first helps us to pause, be present. And then there's any number of, let's call it, solutions to present moment awareness. I've been reading this book by Eckhart Tolle again called, A New Earth. Are you familiar with that book?
I am familiar with that book. I have not picked it up in a while, but it sounds like it needs to go back on my list.
Yeah. So I read it like 15 years ago, but I'm a new person. I'm a different person than who I was then. And so I'm reading it with new eyes, and he's still talking about the power of now, that we only have this moment. And so in that, I'm like, oh, wow, like deepening that sense of taking a breath, being present to my body, being like, oh, yeah, I don't have to worry about the past. I don't have to worry about the future. I could just be present. So, yeah, so it's that layering, isn't it, of who we are and who we're becoming, and the right teachers come at the right times. And
absolutely. I fully believe that our radiance begins in rest, and that rest is a form of rebellion and reclamation. And I really feel that in what you're saying. So
Ooh, I like the words there.
I love an alliteration, as you know.
Yeah.
Give me an alliteration or an acronym, and I am I am a happy girl.
So I just wrote that down because I'm doing 2 retreats coming up. One in Mount Madonna, which is in the Redwoods in Watsonville, just south of San Jose. And the concept is, it is the October 31st. And the concept, instead of putting on masks for Halloween, is taking off the masks. And that in itself is an act of rebellion, like what you're saying, like who we're supposed to be. But I'm a little bit of a rebel, and I think you are too.
Oh yeah. I am a big fan of telling people not to should all over themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And yet it can be really hard for us to see where the shoulding is unless we contemplate. Like, I like to start a talk by saying, so what are all of the, not acronyms, what are the sayings that you were raised with?
Yeah.
And it's fun because you may not believe in those sayings, but it's the underlying programming that's been actually running the show. And anyway, it's just like the whole concept of, I think it was my grandmother and my mom, they said, just suck it up.
Ooh.
So what kind of a programming is that? That's basically just work harder. Don't think about it. Don't take into consideration your needs, your wants, just
your nervous system. Not taking into account your nervous system or any of that, regulation of our nervous system is truly what steadies our crown for both of our systems, both the self-care crown method, which I talk about, and the queendom, which you speak about as well. And finding that affirming your worth without the judgment and the messages and the programming, and figuring out what that looks like is just such an important thing to not only take stock of occasionally, but to really intentionally curate.
Yeah. Again, I'm feeling that sense of my heart filling up as you're speaking into that. And that's that sense of being present with the counter, what do we want to say? The counter programming that I'm working with is creating more space for being. Yeah. Because I was programmed to believe that I'm valuable for what I'm doing. Exactly. Rather than just like, I know that when I'm in my sweet spot, when I am a compassionate, passionate, loving leader. So that has a lot of qualities to it, more than, when I make my next 10,000, or even getting a bigger house, or going on the trips, or whatever that is. That doesn't make me who I am.
Exactly. I have a sweatshirt that I wear quite often in the fall and winter that says your worth is not predicted by your productivity. And I feel like that applies here.
Ooh, I like that. And I wonder if we can come up with an image of what that looks like. I was recently on Threads, and there's this guy, Hige is I think his name, and he has these really powerful visuals that people can just see them, and complex concepts come alive. So I'm sure if we worked on it, or not worked, if we sat in our beingness and meditated on that, we could come up with something that was really powerful, because that's where it's at, is realizing, and it's rebellious to say that, right? Because we were, I guess it was the consumerism, the American thing that, work hard, come here as an immigrant, work hard, and that will get us where we need to be. And maybe that's because we're in a different age right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's and counterbalancing the strong masculine with being in our divine feminine. I'm just like contemplating that, like finding the yin to the yang.
Mm-hmm. Very true. There's always the opposition. There's always the transformative properties. And I want to ask you, what is one ritual that you personally return to when you're feeling some kind of way, you're feeling stretched thin, you're feeling like you're not in this rooted presence? Because I know that as much as we practice this in our own lives, there are those moments for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's so interesting because I'm like, just one?
I know, just one. I know we can all think of a million, but maybe what's your favorite or what's your go-to right now?
I think my go-to, without having to think too much about it, I was going back and forth. Is it cortices because it's the body of energy work that I do, which is body
Mhm.
talk, because that can bring back on the nervous system, or is it heart math, which is coming back, just putting one. So I think I'm going to go with the heart math right now because
Mhm. Yeah.
I love the fact of helping people to regulate their nervous system in less than 5 minutes. It probably takes 2 minutes. Putting one hand on your heart,
Mhm.
the other hand on your belly,
Mhm.
closing your eyes or having a soft gaze, taking a deep breath, breathing from the heart space, thinking about a time in your life when you felt a deep sense of love,
Mhm.
appreciation.
Yeah,
I love the breath, even as I hear
I
you
love
say
that.
that. Like,
Yeah, well, it only takes really 90 seconds to reset your brain.
yeah.
So these techniques, they don't have to take a ton of time. It doesn't cost $1 million to do. It's just a matter of knowing your tools that you have in your toolbox or your tool belt or your tool purse, whatever you want to call it.
It's so interesting. You mentioned like having a toolbox. So I was working with a client who was having some struggles with her. Well, so I'll just say some real struggles with keeping her brain online because it seems like a 1-2 punch. It was a court case that was going and maybe relationships, and all of it happened at once. Maybe some of your listeners can relate to that. Sometimes it feels like it's just this piling on of all of
When it
it. And yet,
rains, it pours.
what's that?
When it rains, it pours.
Some days, right? And so I just gave her some simple techniques that she could come back, like feel your toes on the ground. I feel your right toe right
Mhm.
now. And feel that, whether it's hot or it's cold. And I go, all we're doing is bringing you back to yourself, bringing you back to your body. And she's like,
Exactly.
oh, I could do that. I can remember that because I don't even have to have this is what I was going to say. So I gave her a challenge. I gave her a self-care bingo game.
Oh,
And
how
I said, you don't
fun.
even have to think about it. All you have to do is look at this piece of paper and you go, okay, I'm going to do my heart math, or I'm going to call a girlfriend, or I'm going to go
Mhm.
walking in nature. I'm going to focus on taking a few conscious breaths. It's as simple as that. But I love the idea of the bingo because then it gamifies taking care of
That's
ourselves.
that's super fun. I I like to make little postcards and little magnets and things that with just little rituals on them. I have a ritual card that I hand out at in-person events that has 3 rituals you can do in less than 5 minutes to help center and ground yourself and bring yourself back. I love sharing that, and it sounds like we're definitely on the same page there.
I
Now,
love that idea so that you're actually giving them cards so
something
that they can.
tangible. Yeah, something
And then they
tangible.
can put it in their environment. So even when
Exactly.
their brain goes offline,
Grab the card, read the card, and go, oh, yeah, I remember that thing that Dr. Melissa taught me how to do.
yeah, I love that. I think I may take that challenge because I just love the idea because I love visuals. I love color.
Mhm.
And so thank you for that idea. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I could sit here and talk to you all day long,
Me too.
but I know that we both have many more things to do today. But before we log off, I just want to talk a little bit about how do you celebrate yourself and how do you personally celebrate your wins? Just ending on a note of joy.
Yeah, no, I love that question because so often, okay, so I'm trying to think, I do it in a variety of ways. Again, I think when that's your self-select,
Exactly, exactly.
that's what you do. But I find it really interesting. That's one of the first questions I'll ask when I'm meeting with the client. Like, oh, I just love that because our brain is always looking for the next thing, that reaching out, not the
Mhm.
dang, that was a fabulous day. Like I was okay. So your question is how do I go about celebrating? Well, I have a process that I have a journal that I use first thing when I wake up, even before I meditate. I write down a few things, and it celebrates like what was your sleep quality, what were your dreams, and at the tail end of and where do you want to put your attention? Who do you get to be? That kind of a thing. So it's like bringing me back questions, prompts that bring me back to myself. And then the evening says, what went well? And what is it that how do you, so just feeling it in my body, like I'm doing it. And then I could share it with my partner too. And then if I choose to, I even put it on social media, or I might use it as an example to a client. So there's any number of ways that we can do it. And sometimes it's just putting on some good music too and dancing to it, right? So
Absolutely. That's
yeah, I know you
gorgeous.
can resonate with that one.
Oh, absolutely. That's gorgeous. Celebration is such a missing piece in a lot of self-care conversations. But I'm really a big believer in making radiance a ritual so that your glow isn't just the outcome, but it's how you honor yourself along the way. And Carrie, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. And I've had so much fun creating this space where we can honor the many ways that our self-care crowns can ground us. And for everyone out there listening, I just want to remind you that self-care is not a chore and it's not selfish. It is a wonderful, wonderful way to reclaim your crown and be the radiant royal that you are. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. What is the best way that someone can get a hold of you if they want to know more about being the queen of their own destiny?
I love that question. Thank you, Dr. Melissa. So my business name is Keys to Empowerment. And if they would like to have what I call a brilliance quiz that both celebrates and helps them to see where some of the next steps are, I have a brilliance quiz. So I don't know if we can put that in the notes.
We can put that in the notes of this episode. Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
it gives them an opportunity, like I said, to celebrate all the awesomeness that they already have within them.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again, Carrie. Have a beautiful rest of your Makeup Free Monday. We'll see you next week with another episode. And don't forget to hydrate, my friends.